Well, good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come and just check over this, obviously, start of site works that we're going to be doing for yourselves at in Bramley Road. Just conscious that not all of you probably were part of the same company when this programme went together, so just thought I would run through what we're doing along with everything else that's kind of part of this holistic picture. Our work is focusing primarily on building 6 timber frame houses to the south of this site here, which you guys have acquired. I mean, I don't want to teach you guys to suck eggs, though, just very touched on that. Phases 2 and 3 will come at a later date. We'll happily tender for that afterwards, but for the time being, we're just going to focus on those. Before we do any of that work, I don't know if you guys are aware when you got the site, but there is a piece of footpath out of here that is damaged, and it's public footpath, so we said we're going to take that on as we've got the resources on site, do that free of charge as a bit of community engagement, and we think it will reduce the risk, as Rich will touch on in the traffic management plan, for any deliveries and stuff going to site. So on the first setup, we'll deal with that. Just to give you a brief overview about who we've got here in the room today and who's going to be talking to you through these things. We've got myself, Graham, I'm the project manager. We've got Luke over there, who is, sorry, site manager. And his comrade in arms, Ian, is the assistant site manager. Got Paul over there, who's going to be temporary works manager.
Morning, gents.
Morning.
Rich is our environmental manager and ecologist. Got Dale over there as a health and safety officer / manager. And then we've got Dave, who's going to be the site foreman.
Morning.
So this is our site plan setup, which Luke will go through with yourselves now. It's a bit of explanation.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
I'm Luke Harrison, as you're aware, site manager. Assisting me is Ian Hill, so we'll be on site and doing day-to-day operations. Just as a quick general overview of our site plan, we've opted for to contract out the Harris perimeter fencing along with acoustic barriers to eliminate noise and reduce pollution from nearby schools, residential premises. We've also got our office block and amenities segregated in strategic locations in accordance with our fire rescue plan and other works. So material plant storage away from a waste skip segregated, so it all comes in accordance with what's going on. Again, the traffic management elements and security, we're just doing a brief touch on and an overview. Manned gatehouse with barrier protection to stop any unauthorised or unwanted people in and for direction. Most importantly, we've also got conservation area. Conservation area that's protected and barriered off. We've got an ecologist coming on a weekly basis to give us some updates of what's happening in and around there to minimise any disruption to the species and habitats and wildlife as part of this. Again, this is our site area and this is our general site setup.
Now, just touching on it, I know that when you let the work out to ourselves, you're aware about how environmentally conscious we were and conscientious. So just a personal bit that's personal to myself. Before we do any further works, that's the groundwork for putting in the foul and water services. So we're going to have the foul services that we're going to put into that road, which will be detailed on the programme, which Paul will show you later. The surface water, we're recommending, obviously it's yourselves, it's your site, so it's up to you whether or not you want us to do this. We'll be quite happy to put it out to there, but the way we've gone through this is we're recommending a sustainable urban drainage scheme, which would then tie into the other phases into the house. It will be good stakeholder engagement again, a lot more environmentally friendly, environment agency regulators and stuff, they love it. So I strongly recommend that for yourselves, reduce the flood risk and probably get better relations with the farmer as well. When we connect to the main supply for water, we're also going to take a feed up for our compound for all of our welfare, etc., which again we'll leave in place for your phase 2 and 3 houses should be needed, so we'll appropriately size it for that. Now Paul's going to go on to talk about the project programme.
Thank you. Morning again, gents. I'm Paul Reid, I'm the temporary works manager. So obviously a very quick overview of the project programme, and this is the proposed project programme. We will give you a link at the end of this presentation so you can have a deeper look at this, and any concerns I'll forward my email address and please pass them back to me. It's a 19-week project. And obviously the different colours on there indicate the different tasks and the different guys on site at any given time. What we're looking at is a proposed start date then, down here, which again I'd like you to review and feedback if you're comfortable with it. Working hours in the week would be 07:30 till 16:30. with the guys not touching any materials or any materials or any equipment until 8 o'clock, because we're conscious of obviously there's an existing housing estate in place, and we don't, we want to build relationships with the neighbours already on there. Taking that into consideration again, as you can see on here, we're not planning to work any weekends. So really, I think that's about it from me. So please feedback if you've got any concerns, and then we can talk through this and work the way forward. Okay, thanks, James.
Rich, you know, we're going to talk about the traffic management plan, so...
Hi guys, Richard Davis. I'm here to talk about the traffic management plan for you. Obviously first we'll be applying for road opening notice and traffic light permit to repair the walkway. Obviously we're going to, with the traffic light system here, which I've just put up a small snippet to be able to show to yourselves, if you haven't seen before, a two-way traffic light setup. This is from New Roads and Street Works Act, their codes of practice, which I have a booklet here, if any of you would like to peruse. This will also be done in the first two days when we're erecting our site perimeter, so we can have it done out of the way. Traffic will run on a one-way system on site, and all deliveries will have a vehicle marshal. There'll be no reversing of unaccompanied vehicles, and we are running a reverse parking policy. We've decided to have deliveries only between 9:30 and 2:30 because of the vicinity of the local school. All deliveries will be directed to come in from the east, Bramley Road, again to minimise passing of construction vehicles past Bramley School and the housing site next to it. There'll be full Chapter 8 sign lighting and guarding and advance warnings on Bramley Road to give direction for all site traffic. We have all forms in place to make the appropriate applications to the Highways Department for road opening notice and traffic light permits. And then there's a couple of things to add on to the end. I'm positive we have enough time, because you all know how long local authorities take to process permits and road opening notices. But I'm sure we've got an appropriate amount of time to get them in place for you. Just to reassure you all of our company credentials and qualifications, I'd just like to present a Streetworks Supervisor certificate for myself, which qualifies me to supervise any of the works out on the highway. I think that's about it for the traffic management plan, lads. I'll pass you on to my next colleague.
Myself. Just going to talk about the site security setup. During the day, I'll go on to it now, just as a bit of an example. That's what we plan on using at night. I'll explain a bit more on the next slide. It's a perimeter intruder detection system. So during the day, the security is going to be, also the gatekeeper, he's going to be based in the gatehouse. We're responsible for controlling traffic in and out. As we said, segregated traffic for plant and equipment going in that one, and then all of the traffic to be parking in there, i.e. your cars, any other visitors' cars, all stay in the car park, completely segregated. Gatekeeper's responsible for that security at night, during the day. At night then we'll have these perimeter intruder detection dialects, as they're called, set up, which remotely talk to each other. We have a half-hour response with the Securitas firm, any intruder within that time period outside of working hours, so between 7:30 and 4:30, allowing for a bit of time. We'll sign into it as we leave site, last person, whoever that is responsible, probably the site manager. We'll set those up. They can be tailored so that conscious these are near these properties, so they don't have to have all the sounds and lights as bright, etc. So we can obviously tailor it to suit with the requirements of the general public and the surrounding areas. During the day, general security is awareness for all those working on site. So we'll have a storeman up here looking after that in case there's any risk of anyone coming over here. And then it's just everyone on site will also be inducted to site, be wearing the appropriate, and so we'll just be monitoring it through that way. Any unauthorised access will be through the gate, so that will cover off that bit. Again, any questions on the PID, happy to show you a video and stuff at a later point, or you can come out to site and you can test it for yourselves. Moving on now to Dale, and he'll give you an example of one of the emergency procedures we've got, which is the fire management plan.
Good morning all. Morning. As alluded to, my name's Dale Holmes, for you that don't know me. World famous everybody. I'm the health and safety officer. I am going to go through just the fire evacuation procedure for this one. We do have RAMs for all other emergency procedures, and as will be alluded to later on, there is a link that you can all go to and access all these at any time if you want to read through them further. There are handouts on your desk at the moment for the client's duties and responsibilities, because our main point is to make sure that you feel comfortable with what we are doing for you. We are representing yourselves. Right, so on to this then, the fire procedure. What we've got is we're going to have all the regulatory and legislative, get that word out, signage, again that we'll come on to that later on, and that will be posted around the site in the appropriate places. So we'll have your general fire notices. If you look at the wall over there, you can see that this facility has one on the wall. They're needed. We'll also have the emergency evacuation plan, which is being displayed now. As you can see from there, we are running a one-way system along with designated walkways, and these will always be used in a case of emergencies. Always follow the walkways, and this is what we'll be telling everybody that comes to site. Fire marshals and wardens. We are going to have 2 fire marshals and 2 fire wardens. I myself have done the RAMs for the fire procedure. However, it will be up to the marshals once they get to site to check and implement and update myself, who then will come back to yourselves with anything that's found and that needs amending. All the fire marshals are trained, and the wardens are trained specifically. We do in-house training for everybody that comes onto our sites. The site is a CSCS site, so they should have the bare minimum of training required to get that. But like I've alluded to a moment ago, we do offer in-house training, and we make sure that they've got the right knowledge and experience to actually fight fires, which I will get onto in a moment. So firefighting equipment, there'll be 3 types of extinguishers on site. We'll have CL, water and foam. That is tailored to the works being undertaken and the materials that we've got on site. They will be posted at strategic points relevant to where they're required. If I just direct you towards the display screen that we've got up here, as you can see, the stars are, we have quite a few, we're very safety conscious here. The stars are, they are portable alarm systems and fire extinguishers that we've got. There'll be one on each plot, in the canteen areas and the stores, all around the site. Waste and skips, cosh, again, relating to very specific ones that we've got there. On to firefighting. If you did look closely at that generic notice up there, the general notice, you'll notice that that states not to fight fires. Now, we're very conscious of ours, and because our gentlemen and ladies on our site do have training, we will be fighting fires as long as they are no larger than a waste paper bin. Of course, personal safety comes before anything else, but we're very conscious about your money and not burning down the building sites that we're trying to build for you. Like I say, all contractors will be trained in the correct use of the fire extinguishers, and we do provide in-house training also. Moving on to hearing the alarms, to sounding the alarms, what we have on site are air horns. So whoever notices the alarm, notices the fire, they will have to assess it, see whether they can fight it or not. It is a personal preference. Some people may not like fire and want to just get out. If they are not going to fight the fire, then they do have to sound the air horn 3 times in succession. That should then let other people know what's going on. They should then get themselves away to a safe distance. When at a safe distance and safe to do so, contact the emergency services whilst making their way to the muster point, which will be at the gate entry. Once at the gate entry, we will have a roll call registration for anybody there, making sure that everybody is here and safe. We have already liaised with emergency services. We've let them know what we're doing, what types of works that are going to be going on, the potential start dates and completion dates. So we've already built a bit of a rapport there with the emergency services. As I've alluded to earlier, there's 2 wardens and 2 marshals. If there isn't anybody back here when they should be after the alarm sounded, then the wardens and marshals will coordinate and go searching for them. Of course, only doing so when safe, but one will be left at the gatehouse to liaise with the emergency services when they arrive. We also have a close down procedure, which is all going to be in the induction. I'm wrapping this up now because we're getting right to the end of this one, which will be to turn off all services to the site, again, when safe to do so. Thank you very much.
Great.
you.
As Dale said, that was an example of the fire management. We do have other emergency procedures that we do have in place, or that we will have in place, such as for pollution management. We've got costs, permits,
First aid.
making sure we've got all of those in place. They'll all be covered.
And as I've said, they can be found on the link.
Like I said, this was just an example of the type of rigour that we put into our management plans. So now we're over to Luke and Ian, just again to give you a bit of an overview of an example of a RAMS risk assessment and method statement that we'll be using in our approach.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Ian Hill, site manager, assistant site manager. You've got Luke Harrison, which is site manager. We have got a few policies in hand, which is the RAMS, for the simple reason it is a task-specific operation. Nobody can do any work on the job, what we're actually doing, unless they are signed on to this RAMS. There will be so many which everything's got to come through us, Luke or myself, to sign off to see whether they are actually okay to carry on the works. They will be reviewed every 30 days, so that, and then everybody briefs on them again.
Like Ian just stipulated, in here it's task specific, Ian will complete them, risk assessment, methodology of works. Nobody on site will to do any operation unless they have the relevant documentation, risk assessment and method statement that's been signed and passed off by either myself or Ian. This documentation stays within the office, in the site file, in the light permit system. Any other permits to do with op works or anything else, cutting, abrasive wheels, all come through myself or Ian. We fill out all documentation for all works to be carried out on site in accordance with our company policy and our legislation and British standards.
Thank you.
Okay. Dave's just going to give you a bit of an understanding of those welfare compound and stuff, just the calculations that were behind it and what's included.
Morning guys, I'm Dave, I'm your site foreman. This is just an overview of who we're actually going to be having on site. Obviously we've got quite a wide range of different trades with the fact that we're building houses. We estimate that we're going to have 37 people on site, but only 30 at any one given time, and we've obviously equated the toilets and welfare facilities to suit that number. We also have an occupational health nurse that will be visiting, I think once every few weeks.
If we go on to the next slide. This is
20 minutes.
okay. This is the amenities that we've put in provision for those people. We have things like a battery bank, obviously things you'd expect, microwaves and kettles and stuff. But we have battery banks, seats with back support, which we find really, really important. We also have in the welfare unit itself, we have a first aid kit and defibrillator. There'll also be relevant signage, information as in evacuation plans, emergency contact details, site management, phone numbers and all that sort of stuff in there as well. Thank you.
Great, so signage.
We'll be coming up with a fairly new system for site signage, lads. This is run by our sister company, and they're digital signage on a rolling system, which we can display and change to suit the parameters and of the work. Just briefly, this is where we'll be having all the digital signage located. They are completely waterproof and solar powered, so there is no need for connection to them, as long as we've got a nice firm base for them to sit on. Obviously all our signage will be in accordance with the H&E and CDM regs. There is a link at the end of the slideshow which will provide you a lot more information on our new system of signage.
Okay.
Right guys, with this being a new build housing site, obviously you would expect the usual site rules, i.e. 4-point PPE and so on and so forth. So we've printed out the actual site rules there if anybody wants to read through them. I just want to talk to you about a few site specific ones that I think are quite important. So basically we've stipulated no deliveries before 9:30 or after 2:30. This is to minimise the risk with the people dropping off and picking up kids from school. We're implementing a 6 mph speed limit, and this is due to the close proximity of walkways to the traffic and also the pedestrian crossing points, and with it all being in close proximity to the site gate. Now this is a really important one. This site is situated around a conservation area, and it's obviously really important. So we, under no circumstances, is anybody to enter that area. And to police this, we're going to use a permit system. So unless you're actually authorised and you've signed off on your permit, you're not to enter that area. Thank you.
Just conscious on time, guys, so I'm just going to spin through them a lot quicker. We are shortening them up, so fortunately, things like the construction phase plan, we will have it. It's available with Paul just there. We'll happily pass that around for you guys to peruse. It will be, because it's a live document, it will be available in the cabins and stored on site. Similarly with the health and safety policy, got an example of them up on the board, and our CDM compliance policies. Both of those will be available on site in the cabins as well, should anyone be needing to see them. Just some of the other documents, as I said, environmentally conscious, so we are going to be putting in all of the appropriate management plans, waste management plans, construction, environmental management plan. All of that information, as you can see on the slides there, will be stored in the cabins as well and available for anyone to look at. Should they need to, particularly waste transfer notes, etc., as the waste is being disposed of, and compliance with such quotes as we. Just again,
1 minute.
just touching on the final bits of the environmental management plan, just an example of our plan that we're going to be considering. But one bit I do want to just bring up with yourselves, obviously, as a client, you are responsible for the pre-construction information. We'll happily do the archaeological and heritage and ecological surveys for you, should you want, but we can't do anything on site really until you've provided those photos as the client's additional duty. So, as I said, happily to take that on board if need be. On to the final stages. Everything covered so far will be in the inductions. Inductions will take place on a Monday and a Wednesday between 8 and 9:30. Extenuating circumstances, we can do ad hoc ones. They'll be in the site office, completed by either the foreman or the site manager. A few bits covered in there, obviously project overview, etc. And yeah. And then there's just a few examples of the permissions and notifications we're going to consider as part of our works. Yeah, again, health and safety executive is notifiable, so you guys need to do that. So thank you very much for your time.
Is there anything else?
That's good timing, guys. You managed to squeeze it in just under 25 minutes. So yeah, so we can open the floor to questions.
Can I ask something about fire, mate?
Yeah.
Who are you training to fight fires? And
Who are
is it-
we
and-
training?
Yeah.
They're already trained. It's CSCS, but there are fire marshals. This would normally be the site manager,
So you
site
did say
supervisor.
that you're going to train people to fight fires.
I said we do in-house training. Yes, that's correct.
By
We do.
who?
We do offer in-house training. Again, that'll be the site supervisor and the site manager. So they are fully trained above and beyond what's expected
By
of
who?
normal. By the fire. Forgive me, the fire safety. Yeah.
Another one, mate. Let's bring this
Executive.
up.
Just touching on that, Ben, with that, are you accredited then to deliver CSCS training?
We're not offering the CSCS training. No, that's not what we do.
So,
Our fire marshals are there to be able to. It's essentially a toolbox talk.
Right, okay,
What we would offer.
More of an awareness.
Everybody else. We have specific people. Again, there'll be 4,
Mhm.
2 fire marshals, 2 fire wardens.
Mhm.
Everybody else will just get a bit of what we'd class as a refresher, I suppose.
Can I just say, is the risk of fire on the site high then?
Everything's right.
We're building
We
timber.
wouldn't.
The timber frame
yeah.
building.
It's a timber frame building.
I wouldn't say it's high,
Natural risk
but
with
you cannot
One at a time.
eliminate it completely.
Just one more question, mate. You said if there's a fire and someone's missing at the call point, you're going to send people in to search.
That's correct. Yes.
You can't do that.
Yes, we can. The fire marshals and the fire wardens do
So if
coordinate.
there's a fire, you're
Yeah.
going to send people into the fire.
No, we don't send them into the building. They will walk around the site. Bearing in mind, there's only 3 houses being built.
6.
Sorry, get that right. There's 6 houses being built. Yes, you would go and assess it. I mean, what you'd do is the person who finds the fire comes back. Hopefully, we would have nobody that is missing on roll call. But if there is, you just have a bit of a chat between everyone, find out where they was last known, their last known location, and you'd send somebody there.
If
they're
it's in
not
the fire,
there,
then
you'd
you
walk
don't,
around. Of course, we'd never send anybody into the fire. That's for the fire
Just-
brigade to do.
Last one on fire, mate.
Yes.
Sorry to grill you.
No, that's quite all
So
right.
you've got a horn
You've got to
system
feel comfortable.
with 3 horns, right?
3 blasts
3
of the
blasts of
horn,
horn,
yes, air horn.
My-
that's correct.
If someone's not near a horn or a fire alarm, what do they do?
As shown on the stuff, there will always be near.
Well, no, but
a
I'm
point.
saying what if they're not, or it's been moved. What's the
Can I just-
procedure?
It won't move. The site rules state that you cannot interfere or move equipment once it's settled.
I'm sorry to keep touching on the fire thing, but from my point of view, if you're using a horn, who's checking the horns? What happens if it's cold conditions and the horn doesn't operate? And you've said if no one hears the horn, so no one gathers at the mustard point, your fire marshal's then going to enter the building site again. Who's then looking out for people that are going to come back to the muster point and start signing them?
We
off?
will
Right.
be
There
having
is more
fire
than
drills.
one fire marshal.
Yeah. So again, as I alluded to, it is the fire marshal's responsibility to do all the safety checks for the fires.
Mhm.
So they will be checking the air horns
Yeah.
at appropriate intervals.
Right.
Again, there'll be 2 fire marshals, 2 fire wardens.
Mhm.
So what we would expect and what we normally have on our sites is one of the fire wardens will be the site security guard
Right.
who will normally stay at the gatehouse.
Yeah.
So anybody coming there, he will be doing the roll call, he will be checking, liaising with one of the fire marshals,
Yeah.
who will then liaise with the other 3,
Mhm.
sorry, the other 2, and then progress from there. Again, you can find all of this information on the link there. We have got site-specific RAMs for this.
Yeah.
And again, we do have a site evacuation procedure which spells it out very clearly for you. Yeah, I mean, we've had some really good questions there, and I'm glad that you're taking such an interest in it. It shows that you are keen, and so are we, to prevent anything like this from actually happening.
We
Can
will
I just-
also be having fire drills regularly on a regular basis.
So everyone's aware of the procedures
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
My main concern is with the weather we experience in the UK, we can have anything from a hot day up to chucking it down the rain to freezing temperatures. those air horns, are they guaranteed to operate?
Well, the trolley itself
They do come
has actually got a
CE
bell on
mark.
it. We have got.
So there is
drawing.
another, there
Yeah,
is
there is
another
another
means.
one.
Ah, fantastic. Right,
What it
brilliant.
actually
Okay,
is, it's a trolley system with 2 fire extinguishers on, with a bell mounted on and an
Yeah.
air horn. So you've got the option for both, so you can either ring the bell or
Right,
blast
okay.
the air horn. But this is a main generic, it's 3 long blasts,
Yeah.
but with the option with the induction.
They do come CE marked as well.
Yeah.
And so they have been tested for this particular purpose.
Right, spot on. So moving on then to your cosh storage.
Yeah.
You've got your cosh storage quite close to a timber frame building.
Yeah, we can happily move that to there because there's plenty of space there. So
I think
on
that
your
would be
advisement, we'll quite happily
preferable,
move that
to be
there.
honest.
We
Yeah,
just want to
just
keep it
relocate
all ideally further away from the
Segregated.
To be,
town.
to be fair though,
It will be
to
fully
be
funded
fair,
and
on,
stuff.
on the scale of that, you're probably about 40 metres away from that.
Look at the scale. And also the cost and fuel is actually stored in a locked key, and the cost and fuel material is actually in a flam bank, so they're all vented,
Fair point.
purged,
Yeah,
and
brilliant.
Again,
pretty much bomb proof.
as a client, if you do have any concerns, then we are quite happy and open
Right,
to
okay.
negotiate. As long as it fits within
Our main
the-
objection was to keep less away from, the surrounding
I
residents.
can appreciate that, and it is a difficult project because obviously you've got conservation area in the
Conservation,
centre.
yeah.
No, I
And then
completely
if we
appreciate
move
that.
it over here, we're possibly
Yeah.
to the school, so ideally in an
And obviously,
ideal location.
it will be fully funded as well, and we will have trade effluent
double one,
to
isn't
use
it?
as,
Yeah.
a trade effluent as well, so that anything can go through the foul sewer on the sewage undertaker's rights, so we don't get anything going into that.
So there's a lot more in-depth information. We've also got the ring
Yeah.
binder going around with more information and notes taken,
Mhm.
and anything that's to be considered is out in the pack that Tony's got there.
Well, I have a question.
Sorry, mate.
The designated walkways, Dale, how are they kept separate from the traffic?
Well, I'll refer you to the traffic management for that one, if you don't mind.
We have fixed pedestrian barriers to segregate pedestrians from vehicles, and we're also implementing any vehicles on site to be manned and banked to make sure that there is no clash between pedestrians and vehicles.
Okay,
I believe is it a 6 mile an hour?
We have introduced a 6 mile an hour speed limit. This is just trying to get people to take notice because I think we can all become blasé to signage and speed limits. So we're trying a different approach. If it's something different, we're hoping it will make people pay attention.
okay.
Brilliant. Your speed limit signs, are they going to be fixed signs? Are they going to be the new implemented solar signs so we're going to eco-friendly or?
Yeah. I think they'll be the fixed signs, I believe, won't they? So they're displayed at all times.
Right, brilliant. Good. Yeah.
Can I ask one more about deliveries? So you stop delivery from 9:30 to 2:30. So I'm thinking as a client, and if I get a delivery come at 3 o'clock, he's going to bill me for that delivery.
No.
Can we